Hey guys, in this lesson, I want to show you how to create an optimized listing. All right, so step one here is we are going to go inside of Seller Central. Underneath the inventory dropdown, click on add a product. In here, then click on I'm adding a product not sold on Amazon. Next, you're going to search for your type of product. So mine's yard sign stakes, or even just yard signs. Let's see what this comes up with. It is important to select the category that's most relevant for your particular product, because this is going to affect how Amazon ranks you for different keywords, okay? So it looks like this one would probably be pretty good. Like outdoor decor, kind of. Decorative garden stakes, I think this one's better. The other one I could try is just yard sign. Yard signs, address signs. So this one's an industrial and scientific, occupational health and safety products. All right, so I think the best one is this one that's in patio, lawn, and garden. So I'm gonna select that. All right, now it's asking me to input a bunch of information. I talked a little bit about the UPC or barcodes inside of the packaging section. I did notice that really just within the past 2 or 3 weeks, they started adding this message that said, the validity of the product ID is checked against the GS1 database, essentially. If your product ID is not registered with GS1, then the linked ASIN will be suppressed and it may result in removal of your product creation privileges. So during that product packaging lesson, we spoke about, like, I recommend getting barcodes straight from GS1 if you plan on essentially just taking this business pretty seriously and you're not concerned about investing the money. I do know that people still use the UPC codes from resellers, but it's definitely a common theme that Amazon's continuing to crack down on purchasing barcodes from resellers. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to test whether or not they'll allow it or not. So I went ahead, I went to instantupccodes.com and I went ahead and purchased some barcodes. And I'm just gonna, I tried this before, I'm just gonna try them with you. And when I select UPC, it does seem like Amazon's allowing it. So then I was like, okay, I wonder what it shows up in the GS1 database when I search it, and I'll show you. If I go to searching a GTIN on GS1, type it in. So it's funny, it's like this CKIS Enterprises, which I have no idea who this is. Like I tried Googling them real quick and it didn't really come up with anything. You know, this is registered to a company. Inside of Amazon, you know, it says if your product ID is not registered with GS1. So it is registered with GS1, it's just not to my company. But then I was thinking, like, okay, would Amazon be able to know what company would be the manufacturer of this product? Not really, because keep in mind that when you create a listing on Amazon, you don't have to be the brand owner or the manufacturer in order to create that listing. Like anyone can essentially do it. So I don't think they really have any way of knowing that CKIS Enterprises is not the company that's manufacturing this product. Because remember, whoever like manufactures it or owns this product is gonna be the one choosing the UPC. So, I mean, it seems like it's gonna be okay, but like I would still definitely proceed with caution because Amazon does not want you doing this. And like I said earlier, like if you're gonna take this business pretty seriously and you can see yourself selling these products for years to come, I would just probably pay for the real GS1 code because then you don't really have to worry about it. But I'm gonna try this for you guys and see what happens. I'm gonna see if it gets suppressed in the next few weeks. We'll see. So then product name, brand name, it's asking for a whole bunch of additional information here, right? So the product name we'll hold off for a second. The brand name, you're just gonna choose whatever your brand name is for this product. We'll choose one of the brands that I already have registered. However, make sure that you do not mess up when you enter your brand name, including caps and spaces. Because if you apply for brand registry using a different capitalization or different spaces, like if I did like all one word, then all of a sudden it wouldn't let me have brand registry on it and it turns into a nightmare trying to get Amazon to change it, okay? So I always just do manufacturer the same as the brand name. If you have like a parent company or something you want to put as manufacturer, that's fine. And then we have product name. We'll come back to that in 1 second. If you are going to have variations, so for example, different colors or different sizes or different widths or whatever else, you would choose that in this section, all right? So if it's different material, I would do that here. Since I don't have any variations, I'm just going to leave that undone. For the offer, I'm going to put my price. So I was going to charge this $19.95. Seller SKU, you cannot change this again. And if you don't fill this out, Amazon will assign a random alphanumeric string, but I actually do recommend that you fill this out with something that's easy for you to remember and understand. And the reason for that is the seller SKU shows up in a lot of areas. And if it's a random alphanumeric string and you start to have a bunch of products, it's hard to know which is which. So alternatively, I could do like yard sign 1. And for me, that's easy for me to know which product of mine that is if all I see is the seller SKU. We'll just say, we'll say 0 quantity for now, and then the images. So what it's not asking me without checking the advanced view is remember the bullet points in the description. So like it's not asking me for the bullet points, it's not asking me for the description. So in order to do that, you have to select advanced view, and then you see a whole bunch of additional fields. Now, most of these aren't required, and that's why they remove them. But what you do want to go ahead, or what I would recommend you just go ahead and fill out now, and we're going to do this example, is the product description and the key product features. The key product features are your bullet points, all right? If you don't want to do this right now, then you could always save it and come back and do this later, but we're going to go ahead and do these now, all right? In order to build the content of this listing, I'm going to go into Jungle Scout's listing builder, do create new listing. I'm going to select the keyword list that we made during last lesson, hit next. And now I'm building a listing here, okay? And I'm actually, to make this a little bit bigger, I'm actually going to save this and expand it here for you guys. All right, so now you can see this is a little bit bigger. So I have all of these keywords right here. And what's going to happen is I want to try to use as many of these keywords possible in my listing so that Amazon will rank me for more keywords, okay? That's the reason that the listing builder is so helpful, is because you can add all of the different keywords and it will keep track of which ones you've used and which ones you haven't. So what I like to do is I like to sort by search volume. And then I start with my title. And I want my title to be the highest searched keywords that are most relevant for my particular product. So this top one, I don't think that's super relevant for my particular product, but the next one is. So is kind of security sign, corrugated plastic sheets. So I'm gonna go ahead and start typing out a few of these, and I'm gonna try to make a title. Now, the title doesn't have to be super readable, but I do like it to at least kind of make sense. So I'm gonna try to do, let's see, yard sign stakes for security signs, no trespassing sign, surveillance sign. All right. And then I'm gonna add one of these little pipe things just because I kind of like how they break it up. And the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say includes metal stakes, corrugated plastic sign, I think that's fine. And I'm gonna do, I don't know what coroplast is, but I think it's the type of plastic. Corrugated plastic sign sheets. So that one's really kind of technically crossed off. Then, let's see, I still have quite a few more. I'm doing another one of these little pipe things. I'm gonna do bandit signs for rent signs. Real estate. What else do I have here? Oh, H stakes is a good one. I'm gonna actually do here metal H stakes. And then I'm just gonna keyword stuff at the end. All right, so as you can see here, this is like kind of readable, but it's also obviously keyword stuff, like yard sign stakes for security signs, no trespassing signs, surveillance sign, includes metal H stakes, corrugated plastic sign sheets. I'm gonna just use sheets here. Coroblast, and then bandit signs for let's do for rent, real estate, H stake, H stakes for lawn. All right, so it's like, it's kind of readable, but kind of janky at the same time, right? And it's obviously keyword stuffed, but this is the best way to go about doing your titles. Now, some people like to put the brand name first in the title. I actually don't like to do that because people aren't going to be searching for your brand name. And yeah, I would rather just prefer to do it like this. So what I can do is I can copy that. I'm going to take it right in here and paste it into my product name. As you can see here, oh, they allow 250 characters now. So I can actually do a few more because I've only done 198. So I'm going to do another little pipe thing. Blank yard signs. Anyway, I would do a few more and I'd put those in there. All right, so that's good enough for this example. Even though if I was doing this in real life, I would go ahead and use all of those. Oh, weird. Right here it says max 250, but it only lets you do 200. All right, so I'm gonna go back to where I was at. Oh, there's a little counter up here on above it to the right. Amazon's always changing these. They can't even keep up with what the count is. All right, so next, no variations. Remember, for this page, these are really the only ones you need to fill out, and I'd recommend doing the seller SKU. And then for the description, this is where your description is going to be, and this is where your key product features are going to be, AKA bullet points. And you can do 5 of them by doing add more, all right? So you definitely want to do all 5. And then for the product description, you want to try to use as many keywords as you can, all right? So a cool thing you can do here is after you've used the keywords, you don't have to use them again. At that point, Amazon already knows those are relevant for your particular product. Now, in my bullet points, I do like to make it readable, and I like to expect that customers are going to read those bullet points. So the way I think about my bullet points are, 1, like what differentiates or separates my product? 2, what do I think customers care about the most? And then 3, I do a little competitive intelligence to see what my competitors are talking about in their bullet points, all right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hop back in here, and the first thing I'm gonna do is clean up all the used keywords since I know I don't have to use them twice. So you just click clean up. And now I'm gonna do a little bit of competitive intelligence to see what I think people care about. So bold colors, pre-assembled. All right, so actually none of those are really relevant for my product, right? So I'm gonna go back up here. I'm gonna choose this one, which is much more similar. All right, oh yeah, so I definitely wanna include, so I was gonna do 10 pack. And what a lot of people will do is like all caps to start. Sure, maybe indoor, outdoor use. And right now, these are just ideas. I'm gonna do like heavy duty H-frame stands. What else? Oh yeah. Something similar to that. I kind of like that one. Let's see what other people are talking about. So maybe size, maybe size here too. Down here, like the benefits, like visibility for garage sales, yard sales, businesses, real estate. So maybe I'll talk about some things it was used for. See if they care about anything else. Another really nice place to see if what people ask, how far into the ground and into the sign do these stakes go. So like here I could talk about size and how far into the ground do they go. What else do people care about? What gauge is the wire? It's that same thing. Wire gauge, I can talk about that one there. Let's see what other people are asking about. Actually, another great place is really just the reviews. Heavier duty, so I definitely want to say, all right, I already have heavy duty there. I want to probably add heavy duty here. What else? Nice and solid, heavy duty. Strong welds. You get the idea though. I go through here and I see what people are talking about or what they care about, and that's how I craft my sales copy. Now after that, I want to try to make sure I've used all my keywords, okay? So like, you know, for this one I could say like, maybe for my last one I talk about all the different areas you can use this. So I could say, maybe like in all caps, I'd say like versatile. And then I'll do these signs are great for, whoops, great for visibility for garage sales, yard sales, businesses, real estate, ADT, security. This is actually a little bit sketchy using this since I'm sure ADT's a trademark. I would proceed with caution. I would probably actually remove that. Frame. And here I definitely want to use metal stakes somewhere. I'm going to say video surveillance sign. Cross that one off. All right, and I'll just continue to go down this, all right? So then after a little while, as you can imagine, and this takes probably an hour or two, but I'm gonna have all my features here. The way I like to do it is if we go back to what I like to do is put the main benefit in all caps at the beginning, and then after that, put a descriptor that includes a bunch of the keywords, all right? Now, Amazon is always changing how many characters, and at one point they changed these bullet points to 100, and then what's kind of funny is they say right here that it's max 100 characters per line, but they'll actually allow you to use 500, like watch this. This right here is 499, and they just allowed it. Let me add two more. And they say exceeds the maximum number of characters, 500. So even though they say max 100 right here, I actually use up to 500 because they'll let me. So I want to be able to use that many keywords or talk about that much stuff, all right? So we've covered the title, the bullet points. The last thing is the description and the backend search terms, as well as a few of the different audience stuff here, all right? So the description essentially, even though I recommend you do A+ content, I still write out a description so that one, before my A+ content gets there, it has a description, and two, just for the fact of the keywords, all right? So in my description, since there's tons of different descriptors of where they're using these, I might say, these signs work great for, and just like a bullet point list. I would probably just start copying and pasting these in here, right? And then I also want to sell them on these though. So like I would just talk a little bit about like these heavy duty yard signs are 4 millimeters thick, made of sturdy H-frame stands, etc., etc. So I'm going to talk about them. I'd probably then do this and start just like banging out some other keywords here. For rent, sign, what else? Estate sale, signs, no pooping, dog signs, etc., etc. And I'll try to use as many of these as I can. Now, you won't get them all, but I want to use all the ones that are high search volume and all the ones that are very relevant for my particular product, right? Like U-Stakes, that's not really popular or important for my product, but like, let me see here. Chloroplast, I guess that's what people are calling this plastic material these are made out of. Yard sign stake, so things like that I would want to make sure I include all of those. Now, the last section is the back-end search terms, and let me show you where this is at. So let's actually, something else that's cool is you can use some HTML in here. So I can do like bold, and then maybe I want to do like 4 millimeters thick. All right, and what's cool is then when you copy right here, watch this. When you paste it in here, it has all this HTML in it. Which one doesn't it like? Oh man, that must have stopped allowing one of those. Let me try to remove these. I think it might be underlined. All right, so they removed underline, but you can still do bold and bulleted lists. And then with the key features, you can't do any of that, but let's just grab one of these. I can add those in there, and remember, you can go up to 500 if you want. Don't feel like you have to if it's getting just to be like a mess, but you can. And the last area is the keywords. Now, there's a few different areas to add keywords here. If I didn't want to do like ADT in my listing, which I actually probably don't, I'd remove that because that's a trademark. Some people do put brand names back here, but Amazon specifically tells you not to. I don't know how strictly they enforce that. I haven't really heard of people getting in trouble for it, but use at your own, like use with caution. You know, like what they want you to do is just like talk about your main keywords and use those in here. And you don't need to repeat them. And actually people recommend you don't put commas in here. All right. Platinum keywords, those don't even get indexed anywhere. You can go ahead and fill out these other ones just for other keywords. All right. So intended use, outdoor. I would just try to do a bunch of these, right? Indoor, indoor, outdoor, whatever. I just do as many as they'll allow me. The only thing you don't want is you don't want to do ones that inaccurately reflect your product, right? So like kitchen, no, not really. Aircraft, no. Home, yeah. Let's see if there's any other ones. It's not really business gift, entertainment, because you don't want Amazon to think your product's something that it's not. So maybe I'll do portable. Same thing for here. And you can say like, who's it for? And that's just if anyone searches with these filters on, yours will still show up. And that is all you need besides images for your listing. And since this has already been a really long lesson, we will talk about the images in the next one. So as a quick recap, Jungle Scout listing builder will walk you through using your different keywords to be able to create your content. I'm gonna copy and paste it into Amazon here. I already talked to you guys about the SKUs. You can go back and edit this at any time, so don't feel like it's a big problem if anything's missing. As long as Amazon will allow you to save it, then it's all good. And in the next lesson, we'll talk more about the product images. So I'll see you in there. Thanks, guys.